Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back again for exclusive fireside chat session with Mr. V.R. Sharma, MD, JSPL on coal gasification, the game-changing factor in green energy. The session will be moderated by Mr. Deepak Mahurkar, partner PwC. Over to Mr. Mahurkar.
Very good afternoon, Arnab, Mr. Sharma, and the rest of the audience. It's such a pleasure for me and a privilege to be with Mr. Sharma in today's session to have a one-on-one chat with him to bring to you as to what is it completely different that his company is bringing across to the Indian steel industry. May I start, Mr. Sharma, by wishing you a very good afternoon, and in this session, if you could first let us know a few bytes about your company in itself.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, good afternoon. Mr. Deepak. May I continue?
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you. So we are located in Angul in Odisha and also in Raigad in Chhattisgarh. We have two plants. Odisha plant that is in Angul is 5.4 million ton, which is likely to be enhanced to 15 million ton in next 2 years' time. Raigad plant is at about 3.6 million ton, which is likely to be enhanced to 5 million ton in 2 years again. So the total put together, the capacity, what we have today is 9 million ton. And we will reach to 15 million ton by 2023 financial year. So 23-24 financial year will be about 15 million ton. Now the big challenge is that how to reduce the carbon footprint as a whole, how to take care of ESG, how to take care of the Government of India's commitment in G20 and also under Paris Protocol 5 years back, how to reduce CO2. So that was a big question, especially in the steel industry, where we use a lot of coking coal, steam coal, we use coal, thermal coal for the power plants. Now, how to reduce it? Worldwide, the people, those who have natural gas availability in Europe, especially in Europe, America, and also in some other part of the world, there the CO2 emission from the steel plant is about 1.85 to 1.9 ton of CO2 per ton of steel making. Whereas in India, on average, the blast furnace routes gives about 2.4 ton of CO2 per ton of steel making. So we thought that how to reduce it. So way back in 2010, we started working on a technology based on Lurgi and Sasol, South Africa, to convert Indian high ash coal into gas, that is synthesis gas. So this project we commissioned in 2014. So 2016 we problems in terms of non-availability of the coal, because we wanted to have a coal of similar nature, similar grade, and similar reactivity. But we were not getting that kind of coal because Coal India was unable to supply coal in abundance or as per the requirement. Finally, in 2018-19, we again discussed with Coal India, and they opened a couple of mines in and around Angul. And those mines were quite comfortable in terms of the reactivity of the coal. And we started getting coal in the month of October 2019. And since then, we have been using this coal gasification regularly uninterrupted. So this is the plant which has 7 gasifiers of Lurgi technology. Each gasifier is based on closed atmosphere, closed control, high pressure gasifier with 22 bar. So there is no leakage in terms of any emission or anything. So we use coal having 51 or 52% ash. We reduce it down to 35% through a coal washery. The coal rejects are taken to CPFC boilers where we produce power. And the washed coal of 35% contents in terms of overall slag level or dust level or impurities that we take to our gasifiers. So these gasifiers are very special gasifiers based on fixed bed technology of Lurgi. And then after the raw gas is made, raw gas cleaning system is there. Then there are rectisols to remove, to clean and to remove the H2S, that is hydrogen sulfide and the sulfur as a whole. Now, this particular sulfur contents are brought down to a level about 2 ppm. And finally, we take out some of the byproducts like gas oil, tar, pitch, also ammonia, liquid ammonia. And then finally, we take this in gas to produce DRI. So DRI means a direct reduced iron, where we bring either the pellets or the iron ore or the iron pellets, and we reduce it to the syngas. Syngas contains 58% of hydrogen and 28% of carbon monoxide, plus some other gases like oxygen and nitrogen. So with 58% of hydrogen going into the furnace, hydrogen being the lightest gas available in the universe, that increases the permeability and the reduction becomes faster, and it acts as a very good reductant. And wherever the calorific value is required, we get through the CO. So put together, we have 3,400 kilocal per nm cube of total heat value. And we reduce our iron ore and also pellets through this vertical retort supplied by Midrex USA. We are producing about 225 per ton of DRI. And this 225 ton of DRI as a hot link at a temperature of 720 to 750 degree, it goes to the electric arc furnace. So we save in terms of energy because it is already hot with 740, 750. So we use very less amount of energy to melt it and to raise the temperature up to 1600 degrees centigrade. So this is what the total process is in a nutshell. Through this process, we are in a position to reduce our CO2 footprint from blast furnace route of 2.4 to 2.6 ton per ton of steel making to below 1.5 ton of the total CO2 per ton of steel making. So this is a wonderful process. We are now working how to produce from syngas to methanol because methanol is again a very hot commodity today. The Government of India is also encouraging methanol generation, methanol production. And this will be doing very shortly, maybe next 1 year time. Our methanol process plant will also be working. Now, after that, we are working on coal to liquids. Coal to liquid means coal to diesel, coal to petrol, coal to benzene, coal to naphtha in liquid form, and finally coal to SNG, coal to urea, and also coal to plastics, the last value chain, that is like olefins. So this is the next process. So we are working, Government of India, they can either they can assure us a seamless supply of coal, that is high ash coal, or they can allocate us mines that yes, we can run our mines. So thanks to Ministry of Mines, where they have already declared that there are some incentives which are going to be for the coal gasification units. If they own a mine, so the royalty will be reduced to 50% and 50% discount or incentivization will take place. So this is a wonderful decision by Government of India and especially the Ministry of Coal and Ministry of Mines. So Government of India has already committed that 100 million ton of coal will be gasified in next 3 to 4 years time to produce either methanol, ethanol, or to produce fertilizer, that is urea. So this is a very good movement. We are blessed with 350 billion ton of coal in this country. In fact, we don't need to import any crude because we can convert crude out of coal itself, which is in a very, very environmental friendly manner. There are 3 processes today available in the world. One is if the coal is available underground in terms of the more and more methane and the carbon monoxide, then we can find out CBM route, that is coal bed methane. It was done in India in 2 plants, 2 different locations. Both are quite successful, and they are supplying to GAIL. The other is underground coal gasification, that is where the mines are, the coal is available for the underground mining. So we can go up to 200 or 220 meter depth in like a well, and we can take out the carbon monoxide, that is CO, from the underground procedure, and then we can convert CO into hydrogen also. So that is another process. The third is above the ground, but under a closed atmosphere. We have opted the technology above the ground with a closed atmosphere because in the Talcher belt, most of the mines are open cast mines. So we cannot go to 200 or 220 meters. So this is all about the process. And by this particular process, we've been in a position to reduce our CO2 emission at least to half, 50%. So that means we'll be saving 50%. So the carbon credit will be available. We have valued it for about $30 to $35 million of the total carbon credit advantage when we go in the full swing. We already have one first largest plant and single plant, the only plant in the world producing coal to gas and gas to DRI. There are so many plants in the world producing coal to gas, gas to methanol, and gas to liquids also. Like Sasol is producing gas to diesel, gas to petrol, gas to benzene, gas to naphtha, and many more products. And Sedin in China, they are producing coal to olefins, plastic, PVC. And also the time has come now, because we are the NTPC and other plants, the private sector plant, the thermal power plants, they are utilizing coal for electricity generation. But that gives us a 30 or 32% of the total efficiency in terms of the coal and the carbon efficiency. So through Rankine cycle. So the best is to produce syngas or the producer gas, and this syngas can be converted into electricity through IGCC route, and that can give us through a combined cycle route that can give us 58% efficiency level, which is more than 22% or 24% as of now in terms of the best plants. Each 1% increase in the efficiency in the power plants reduces CO2 generation by 2%. I think the future is for next 15-20 years time, though Honorable Prime Minister has declared that by 2070 will be a net emission free country. But I think in next 20-30 years time, we should try to utilize coal as much as possible. I'm against the coal being burnt in the furnaces, in the open furnaces, and we create havoc for the environment. We should convert coal into gas and gas into whatever products we want to do, even for the cooking gas, that is called SNG, that is synthesis natural gas. That can also be done. Fertilizers can be done. Olefins can be done. The plastics, PVC can be done. And also the steel can be made, as I explained to you. So that's all from my side. In case of any question, please ask.
This is an amazing download on what's happening in your company, the kind of unique initiative that you've taken. So let's look at it at a holistic level. Steel industry is looked at in today's carbon constrained world as one which is hard to abate. You, in last about 5-7 minutes, explained to our audience as to how you are taking initiatives to actually ensure that the fuel has not changed, but the carbon gets abated. How do you look at it from expansion of these technologies, co-adoption by the government, regulatory authorities looking at this, and what kind of capital requirements will steel mills need to adopt this, and what do you want the government to do?
Yes, thank you very much. So very simple. First of all, for the blast furnaces, we import coking coal. Coking coal is not available in the country, so we import from Australia, Russia, America, and Colombia. These are the 4 major countries supplying coking coal, and partly it comes from New Zealand and Indonesia also. But you know, coking coal prices today you are seeing $360, $380 a ton. In last 7 months' time, the prices have gone by 350 to 400%. So, which is a very huge cost. But you know, the point here is whether the coal comes from Australia or coal comes from America, coal is a coal, and we burning coal through the coke oven plants, and then converting coal into coke and utilizing the blast furnaces is a very unfriendly exercise. But unfortunately, nothing is available today. We have only 2 processes to produce steel, either through the electric arc furnaces or through the blast furnaces. So the electric arc furnaces are not very much popular in the country because the power tariffs are very high. So we have asked Government of India 2 things. Number 1, since we are blessed with 350 billion ton of coal, we should produce power at pit heads through the coal gasification route and adopting IGCC power plants. And we should adopt a policy of one tariff, one nation policy. Means the entire nation, Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Gujarat to Guwahati, the tariff should be same. When you have the same tariff in the country, whether we produce through the green energy or hydro energy or nuclear energy, or we go for the coal gasification and then IGCC route, combined cycle plants, the power tariff should be one. That will help us in 2 ways. One, most of the plants will be established near to the coal pit head. where the gasification will take place, and from gas pipeline, they will be connected with the grid and they'll be producing power. It is easier to transport power than transporting coal. We have seen that in last 1 month, 1.5 month time, there was a huge shortage of coal in all of the power plants in the country, and Government of India, Ministry of Railway, they were struggling as to how to feed coal to all these power plants to avoid a blackout situation. So that can easily be controlled and can be easily maneuvered if we have the coal gasification units at each and every pithead, whether it is underground coal gasification or it is above the ground coal gasification or CBM, that is coal bed methane, and this should be utilized to produce power. Then we transport power through a very good networking with 1200 kV lines, not 230 kV line or 440 kV line or even 750 kV line. We have a national grid upgradation system that we should produce power, and we should transport power from Kashmir to Kanyakumari at 1250 kV. When we are 1250 kV, the line losses goes down, the transformer losses goes down, and finally we can make the power available to each and every citizen in this country at a very affordable price. Be it 4 rupees per unit or 5 rupees per unit, doesn't matter. But if it is uniform, then the industrialization across entire country will take place. Today, people see the pastures where the electricity tariffs are low. They want to go and put up their factories there. But they can put up the large factories there. But the consumers are somewhere else. Like there are no consumers or there are less consumers in Jharkhand and Bihar and Odisha. But there are more consumers in Bangalore, more consumers in Bombay, Delhi, Kolkata, Hyderabad. There are more consumers and customer base. So we have to transport goods back to those locations. So that creates a lot of problem. And then again, you use the trucks, means more and more CO2 generation. So the best is, one suggestion is that we should put up our power plants based on the coal gasification at the pitheads, coal pitheads. Point number 2, we are looking towards government that a very friendly policy and very liberal policy, a benevolent policy, I'll tell you, should be made to make the coal available to all the people, those who are going to produce gas, that is coal gasification. For that, Coal India will have to increase their capacity. Today, they do about 750 to 800 million ton per year. They should do 2 billion ton per year. And by 2025, they should think for 5 billion ton of coal per year. When you do 2 billion ton coal per year, 5 billion ton coal per year, the country will flourish. Flourish in the sense, no import of gas in this country. Today, I tell you, by buying the coal from Coal India, our gas cost is $5 per MMBTU. If you own coal mines, it can be reduced to as low as $2 per MMBTU. Nowhere in the world for the industrial sector, the gas is available at $2 per MMBTU. Nowhere. Even the country like Iran, when we visited there, that we want to put up a DRI plant, they are asking $3 per MMBTU. Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, they are asking $4.5 per MMBTU. Saudi Arabia is asking $4.5 per MMBTU. Tapi lines was coming to the country, the price was $12 per MMBTU. Godavari kg basis, they were asking $4.5 to $11 per MMBTU. So this is a very, very friendly, cost-effective methodology, and we can save at least $50 billion per year in terms of foreign exchange we are spending by bringing crude and gas in this country. And our consumption of gas and crude is likely to increase at the rate of 10 to 12% on YOY basis. So we can definitely, we can do it. So this is what we are looking for the government, that they should.
So we heard you say that the cost is getting reduced, carbon is getting abated. What kind of capital investment will go for an Indian steel sector size? An approximation.
For a plant of 2.5 million ton, we need about 3,000 crores for the gasification. And the balance facilities in any case to make the steel, like electric arc furnace or DRI, are in any case required for any steel plant. But as a fuel security, we need only 3,000 crore rupees. And that can meet out a demand of 2.5 million ton. If we have 5 million ton steel plant through electric arc furnace and DRI route, then we can manage in 5,000 crore rupees a 500,000 Nm cube of coal gasification unit. When we installed the plant, we started with 3,000 crore, but we ended with maybe 4,000, 4,500 crore because most of the items were imported. But now nothing is being imported. Now we are setting up another gasifier in addition to 7 gasifiers we have. We want to put 2 more gasifiers in the same chain. So our cost, we estimated that if we had to replicate than we could do in less than 3,000 crores.
Thank you. And the next question obviously is that, the financing world is unfortunately not ready to look at coal, oil, gas. But I'm also hearing that although we use coal, our ability to abate carbon is very high in the technology that you're running. Any suggestions on financing these projects?
I see there are 2 points here. First of all, India itself is self-reliant in terms of financing. Indian banking system is so solid today with the more than 15 lakh crore rupees in the bank, $670 billion of forex reserves. The country is in a very, very good position. We'll be touching about $3 trillion very shortly. Aim is $5 trillion. So we do not need money from outside. First of all, this is what. If the government of India needs, or the Indian industry, they need money from outside, let them take the money in terms of getting investments in solar, nuclear, or wind, or hydro, no problem. But the domestic money should be spent on coal gasification. And this coal gasification will change the future with a committed return on investment, ROI. I feel that the ROI is as low as 18 to 20 months time. I mean, no other plant will give ROI 18 to 20 months time in today's time. So people, they work on 3 years ROI, 5 years ROI. So we are working on ROI of 18 months, and it can be as low as 15 months. So I think my suggestion to Government of India and Ministry of Finance is that they should make a special financial institution as it used to be in the good old days time. The financial institution will act only on the coal gasification and to replace the import. Like $50 billion we are spending today to import this the fuel, and this $100 billion. So $100 billion when we are spending, out of that, if $50 billion we spend on coal gasification, then we make our fortune. So my suggestion to Government of India is $100 billion we are spending to import fossil fuel, be it gas, petrol, crude, whatever, and out of that, 50 billion should be given to coal gasifications. We can produce coal to hydrogen. Coal to hydrogen, we can produce the cheapest hydrogen in the world. The cheapest hydrogen means $1 per gallon, not kilo, gallon. Today, the best of the best hydrogen is produced at $3.5 per gallon. If we use our coal, we can make hydrogen $1 per gallon. So it is too low a price. We can be world largest exporter of hydrogen. We can liquefy the hydrogen. We can use the hydrogen for our own use. We can utilize hydrogen for our energy use in the country. And that will change the fate of the country as a whole.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sharma. Absolutely on the dot, even by the clock. But I want you to give a parting message to our audience today in terms of what your company is planning in the next 4 to 5 years, so that we are all excited and ready to emulate you.
Thank you very much. So we at Jindal Steel and Power, this is the company which is owned by Mr. Naveen Jindal. He is the chairman, and a very promising and a very pro-technology person. So he always encourages us that go for the newest technology, go for what is happening in the world, and try to do something better than what world is doing. And this is what we started working on, this particular technology of coal gasification, and we made it successful in 2015 by commissioning it, and now it is commercially being run in the world. This is the only technology. Why people are not entering into it in the country? Because they are not assured of the coal supplies. When they are not assured of coal supplies, people don't venture, because somebody spends 3,000 to 4,000 crore rupees, and if the coal supplies are not assured, then the company is gone. The international companies are not interested because they are interested in not interested in coal. They are interested in solar, wind. Solar and wind, we are not self-reliant. India has to import. So basically, there may be some self-interest of some of the nations that they want to export their goods to this country in terms of solar panel, batteries, and the control system, so that we are, by the time we reach to those levels, so whatever we save in terms of cost of energy and transmission, so that money they will be earning. It is their business interest, maybe. The other area is what Government of India should do, that we should go in a big way, the nuclear energy, which is a clean energy, and no more Chernobyl has happened in last 3 decades. The technology is quite safe. So we have 2 points here. First of all, we should use the coal. Number 2, we should use nuclear power. We should use hydro as much as possible. And of course, we should install the solar energy. But I tell you one thing, we'll be short of land because solar consumes a lot of land. We'll be short of land after 5 years or 7 years. We are thinking that we'll be doing 450 gigawatts through solar. That means how many thousands of square miles of area we are going to consume. So that is also to be seen. And many of times the fertile land will be used because that is the area where the sun rays are there. So what we are thinking in our company in JSPL, coal to gas, gas to IGC route power, coal to methanol, coal to ethanol, coal to liquid. That is our future. This is where we are working. Coal to DRI, we want to replace all blast furnaces from existing coal, imported coal to the syngas. So syngas injection, we are going to take first time in the world, 15% syngas, synthesis gas, we are going to inject in blast furnace very soon, maybe in 2 to 3 months time. This will save 100 kg of coke. That means minimum 2,500 rupees a ton saving. So this is what we are going to do. So this is what our blueprint is. This is our way forward.
Thank you so very much. Really elucidating, compliments to all the advanced technologies adoption and the forward-looking paths that your company has laid down. Thank you, Mr. Sharma, on behalf of the organizers for sparing time for the audience. And I'm privileged to be here with you.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us, even if despite of your busy schedule. And we're really honored for the valuable deliberations. We're coming up with the proceedings. If you need any help from any input, we will touch base with your officer.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mahorkar, for wonderfully moderating the session. We end this session with exclusive fireside chat with Mr. VR Sharma, MD JSPL, and we'll be back with our concluding session today, experts roundtable on India's energy grid of the future, how solid fuels, gasification, carbon capture and distribution hubs will form the building blocks of the net zero energy landscape in India. So stay tuned with us. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Thank you all.